Welcome to Future Forward. I'm your host, Arya. In this episode, we're delving deep into the intriguing world of electric vehicle range anxiety. Its origins, the science behind it, and the effects it has on our psyche. Electric vehicles have transformed the automotive landscape, promising cleaner and more efficient transportation. However, along with their benefits, a curious phenomenon known as range anxiety has emerged. Range anxiety refers to the fear or concern that an electric vehicle's battery will run out of charge before reaching a destination or a charging station. The origins of range anxiety can be traced back to the limitations of early electric vehicles. These vehicles had relatively short ranges and limited charging infrastructure, making long journeys a daunting task. Even as technology has advanced and electric vehicles now boast impressive ranges, the psychological residue of those early limitations lingers. The science behind range anxiety lies in the interplay of several factors. Our brains tend to focus on potential risks and uncertainties, which can be exacerbated by unfamiliar technology. In the case of electric vehicles, the fear of being stranded due to a depleted battery triggers a primal response associated with survival instincts, the fight-or-flight response. This response, originally meant to deal with immediate threats, gets misapplied to scenarios that lack the same urgency, leading to heightened stress and anxiety. Range anxiety can be understood through the lens of cognitive psychology. When we perceive a potential threat, our brains tend to prioritize that threat over other considerations. This hyperfocus on the perceived risk of running out of charge can overshadow the actual probabilities and available solutions. Additionally, the lack of personal experience with electric vehicles can make these concerns seem larger than they are. The effects of range anxiety can range from mild discomfort to outright avoidance of electric vehicles. This psychological burden can discourage potential EV buyers from making the transition, even when the reality of their driving patterns doesn't warrant such fears. This not only impacts individual consumer choices but also influences the wider adoption of electric vehicles, a crucial factor in combating climate change and reducing air pollution. To alleviate range anxiety before a trip, consider these top 3 mental exercises. The first recommendation is simple. Don't just get in the car and go with your anxiety raging in the background. Instead, spend some time beforehand doing a little trip planning. For this, you can use available apps and resources to identify charging stations along your route. This exercise shifts your focus from uncertainty to proactive preparation, reducing anxiety. Our second recommendation is to start practicing mindful self-talk. Practicing positive self-talk challenges negative thoughts. When concerns arise, just remind yourself of the extensive charging infrastructure and the advancements in battery technology that have rendered range anxiety less relevant. Third, do a reality check with yourself by reviewing your typical driving habits. If most of your journeys are well within the range of your electric vehicle, remind yourself that range anxiety might not align with your actual needs. These 3 things together can really help diminish the fears of running out of charge before a journey of any length. Keep in mind that how you practice them and the degree to which you use these techniques might depend on the length of the trip and the route you need to take. For example, you might consider doing a lot more planning if your route takes you into areas where there's less infrastructure available. In summary, range anxiety, a product of early limitations and unfamiliarity with electric vehicles, triggers primal responses that overshadow rationality. Understanding its psychological roots allows us to tackle this issue more effectively. By practicing mental exercises like precision planning, mindful self-talk, and reality checks, we can mitigate the impacts of range anxiety and embrace electric vehicles with confidence. Thanks for joining me on this episode of Future Forward. If you found this exploration of range anxiety enlightening, don't forget to show your appreciation by liking this episode and subscribing to our channel. We're curious to hear your thoughts on this topic, so please share your insights in the comments below. As we navigate the roads towards a cleaner and more connected future, let's work together to dispel range anxiety and drive towards progress.